Two very important Chicago Cubs pieces have been rumored to get a contract extension. Time's ticking. Let's talk about it.
Are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Cubs alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Pleased to be with you for another edition of the show. And thank you whenever and wherever you may be listening to this Tuesday episode. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Shout out to the audio peeps, Apple, Spotify, ad-free if you're an Amazon Prime member on Amazon Music, and listening and watching on YouTube. We are one day for pitchers and catchers reporting to Sloan Park. Many of them are in AZ already, Sam. But as we get into spring training this week and the ball gets rolling, we inch closer to the March 30th opening day. There's some big questions that we're going to tackle as we build that runway together. And one of those is contract extensions for a couple big internal pieces in Ian Happ and Nico Horner.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on these two players as the Cubs attempt to work out deals prior to the first pitch of the season?
Two very different cases. And I'm going to break down. I want to break down them briefly. So first of all, I want to say that I am not one of these guys that I'm Team Jed on these matters. I'm not going to be the guy that after Nico Horner has a bases clearing double on opening day that just puts it all caps, extend Nico Horner, or, Happ, extend Happ, because you don't know the negotiations, okay? So let's take Happ, Matt. Let's go Happ first. We'll break it down and then go Horner. With Happ, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, there's certain guys.
He's entering his walk year.
Yeah, he's entering his walk year. There's certain guys in baseball that are more valuable to their organizations than they are other teams, like Anthony Rizzo and Kyle Hendricks, for example. The common GM will just look at Kyle Hendricks' numbers or look at Rizzo's numbers and say, okay, we'll give him this, this, and this. But for the Cubs, what they've brought to the culture, how they've performed in big moments, the leadership, I always said those two guys were more important to the Cubs than they were other teams, which is why I never really saw a trade for those guys up until Hoyer's hand was forced with Rizzo. Ian Happ is in that other category where he is more enticing to other organizations than he is the Cubs. Why? He's still in his 20s. He is coming off his best year overall in a 162-game season, not counting 2020. He is a guy that wants to get paid, wants to make as much money as he can. And the Cubs do have some assets on the lower levels that are outfielders. And I just don't think Ian Happ wants to sign a bargain sort of extension before this year. I think he's going to bet on himself, as he should. I think he's going to have another really big season. And if he has a big season this year, then I would be really surprised if he were a Chicago Cub. Now, we'll get to some other possible things that could happen with him in a little while. But with Happ, we'll go Happ first. Like I said, I don't see the big deal. Of course, if the Cubs want to extend him and they find a price, that makes sense. But why? Ian Happ's a year away from entering free agency. That's a player in your late 20s dream of doing. And if he performs like he did last year, a team like Houston, any team will be lining up for him with more money to give him. I don't know what you think about it.
I don't see why, from his perspective, why he would be interested in doing an extension. And I'll let you know a couple reasons. One is Ian Happ was close with the previous core, and he was including Wilson Contreras. And I just believe that deep down in my Cubs fan soul, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but I do think it's something to ponder. He just saw all his friends leave and how it was dealt with. And I think it was dealt with, at the end of the day, the right way. I really do. And I think that Jed Hoyer, to an extent, is already justified in the dollars and cents in terms of the extensions that he literally offered to the last core. And those guys, in one way or the other, didn't get those deals that were originally offered to them. He saw all those dudes leave. He sees the free agent market this past winter. He sees the free agent market this winter. And if you look at the class of 2024, it's outside of Shohei Ohtani, it's fairly light, and it gets lighter every day. Devers is off the board. Right. Machado is in talks with the San Diego Fathers right now. You don't really have a lot of premier players. So then this next tier, the Ian Happs, the Matt Chapmans of the world, they're going to get big dollars. Okay. Yeah. If he's interested in being here, fine. But I don't think right now it makes sense for a team like the Cubs to go to the table before March 30th this year and offer him an AAV in the excess of 20, 25 plus M's, which I think he could get in December.
I agree.
And so I think the likelihood is low. And he seems apt to test the free agent market and be free to go wherever he wants.
Look, I'll say it again. If Ian Happ has a really good year this year, he probably won't be a Cub next year.
Right.
They'll gamble on Brennan Davis. They'll gamble on somebody else because they just have other needs at that price point. And there's going to be other teams around the league. If he hits 284 with 27, there's going to be teams around the league lining up for a switch hitter in their 20s like that. You know what 100%. I mean? And the Cubs aren't going to get into a bidding war for a guy like that if they really believe in their younger guys. Now, Nico Horner is a totally different situation. Right. Nico Horner, his deal is up at the end of 2025. People are already getting upset. Hey, why haven't you extend Nico Horner? Let me tell you exactly how this probably went between Horner and Jed Hoyer, okay? Or Horner's reps, okay? Still fighting this cold a little bit, so I'm trying not to sneeze on air. Do
you have Kleenex nearby?
Yeah, I'll be okay. Just get me to the break. Jed goes into Jed and Nico Horner's reps talk. They say, hey, we want this for this money for this X amount of years. So Jed Hoyer's going to say, hey, I want to give you that. That is what I want to give. I know you deserve that. But guess what? I have you until 2025, and you have only proven that you're worth that for 3/4 of one season. Right? Nico Horner has been injury prone. I love Nico Horner. I'll say it again. He's my favorite Chicago Cub. But unless it's going to be a Michael Harris type extension, for those not familiar, the Braves extended Michael Harris after his phenomenal rookie year. Do you know the numbers on that, Matt? I do.
What is it?
8 years, $72 million.
Wow.
I mean, that's about as team-friendly as it gets, unless Nico Horner just wants to secure the bag, i.e. like Tim Anderson, i.e. like Starlin Castro did with the Cubs, i.e. like a Michael Harris. Why rush to a number when the Cubs have the right? And I can't emphasize it enough. I love Nico Horner, but he has only proven to be able to stay healthy for like 3/4 of one full season. And so why not watch it one more time? Trust me, if he has another year like he had last year, he'll get paid by the Cubs. The Cubs, Nico Horner is one of those guys you could see being more important to the Cubs organization than the outside, unlike Ian Happ, in my opinion. And that's no knock on Ian Happ. It's just how it goes. But I don't know how you feel about it. I want Nico Horner to be a Cub for life, but I don't blame Jed saying, hey, Nico's asking for 8 years, 100. I just want to see another – I just want to see another year of full health and full production before I hand out those dollars. Then I promise you, we'll take care of you before you hit free agency. So my two things are, I'd be very surprised if Ian Happ were a Chicago Cub in 2024. And I mean that with all due respect to him. And I'd be very surprised if Nico Horner did not get an extension. I just think it may take some time. Don't rush. Don't be one of these people. And Nico Horner's got to double to right. Extend Nico. Just let it play out. Okay, just let it play out, and we'll see what happens. I don't know what you think on that.
Well, the Michael Harris information is intriguing because I was drafting some possible extensions for Horner today, and I came up with, some 6 and 7 year combinations with AAVs of like 10 to 14 M's.
Yeah.
Of course, that would be backloaded in terms of the AAV progression. So they make, closer to 15 to 20 in the last couple of
Right.
years of the deal. But extensions now get you through arbitration, so guys like Harris, especially, shoot, after 1 year, he
Right.
makes more money
Sure.
earlier.
Right.
So this would take Horner through, his arbitration years, and then, a 6-year deal would get him to
See,
age 30 or 31.
right.
Then I get into questions of why would he want to do that? Like, why would he
Exactly.
want to hit the open market in 2025? He has immense value at 2 vastly important spots.
So
He established himself in the major leagues at short, and now he's going to be good at second.
So the number I came up with, funny, it was 6 years, 80
Yeah.
right now. And that's right about where I could see both of them saying, sure. For Horner, the only value would be, you said it, he gets to hit free agency again at an early age.
Yeah.
So he gets paid doubly, but that's it. Like if it's let's say it's 6 years, 70. Why would he take that? Just go ball out for another year and you're worth way more than that.
Yes.
So it's two opposite situations. Happ, they waited a really long time. If they really wanted to extend them, they probably needed to do it before last year.
Right.
And Horner's the opposite. They have plenty of time, and I don't expect either guy now to get extended before spring training. We'll talk after the break about some possible scenarios with the left fielder.
Good questions to ponder, and we will discuss right after this. Hold up, though. We want to tell you about Built Bar. Are you looking for a snack to get you through the work day, the school day?
Every day.
Maybe you're volunteering somewhere. Maybe you're trying to get a workout in. Maybe you're meeting with clients, but you need something that could get you through, but that's tasty, but it's actually healthy. How about Built Bar? Okay, for starters, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. It's not like that fake bleep chocolate. It's real. It's 100% real, and there's unbelievable flavors. This isn't no basic stuff here. We got churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, whopping 17 grams of protein. And of course, you could order online. Be my guest. Order online at built.com, but also you could get in your car, you can put the gym shoes on, and you could go into your local Walmart or Sam's Club. You could get our box of cookies and cream, double chocolate or coconut puffs, and try a Built Bar today. So if you're nearby your device, built.com, or if you're near a Walmart or Sam's Club, to try Built Bar today. Welcome back into Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. If it's fairly clear that Ian Happ is going to hit the free agent market, then should the Cubs explore a trade for him? It's relatively simple thinking, because if he is going to be a free agent, then your job, part of your job description at Clark and Addison, is going to be to get value.
Order a vanilla latte at the Starbucks across the street.
Is going to be to get value. That's one of my favorite drinks, is to get value for a player that's going to be a free agent.
No, it isn't.
Okay, they tried that with Wilson Contreras, who reported to spring training today for the Cardinals. And once again, just real quick, I will make sure that he doesn't get a bobblehead, a flag, a mention, nothing. Okay, and I will go to the ends of the earth to do that. Okay, because he's now with the rival team. But we are talking about Ian Happ right now.
Hopefully he likes reading and walking canines.
And Ian Happ has his highest value right now prior to this campaign opening up.
You don't trade him.
So I think one of the biggest questions for the Cubs this year, perhaps, is, are they going to be in contention at the deadline? Because we've now spent 2 deadlines where they're clear, crystal clear sellers.
Yes.
Is that going to happen in 2023? That's got to play out. If it does, Happ is good as gone. But why not Why not trade him before opening day? Get a big package. Okay, this is one of
No.
the best left fielders in the league.
Yeah.
A Gold Glover.
Right.
He's at an offensive peak. You could deal him. Okay.
Right.
My biggest thing right now, one of my biggest roadblocks in this
Mhm.
is if they trade him, then who plays left field?
Mhm. They're not gonna trade him.
And I think you're going to get to why that first 28 plus games,
Mhm.
you need Ian Happ in the order.
Right. Um, it's a logical thought, but sometimes we get ourselves in trouble with too much logic. Oh, well, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Well, we might not get anything for him. Well, guess what? What if this team gets off to a 35-17 start with him, right? Like
Yes.
the Cubs, obviously, it's unlikely. Here is what's going to happen. The Cubs are not going to trade him before opening day because the Cubs have tried to sell their fans this offseason that they are serious about winning this year. The Bellinger 1-year deal, Tyone, Dansby, whoever else you want to add, that deal makes a whole lot less sense unless the Cubs trade Hap for a major leaguer, like a ready major leaguer, which I don't think they're going to do. It's just contradictory, and the fans would be upset. Now, you make the correct point. If the Cubs are struggling at the deadline, and or shout out to Paul on Twitter that made this point, they may even be 500 at the deadline, but St. Louis could be running away with it, and the NL wild card could be loaded this year with the Mets, Phillies, Padres, name them, Braves,
Yeah.
whoever else it is. The Cubs could be a 500 team in mid to late July, but they could be 8-9 out. And then
You got to trade him.
then you have to deal him. But it's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to a guy like Dansby Swanson that just signed here and was told he was going to win, and Ian Happ was going to be a part of that, to trade him before opening day. Give this team a chance to gel because at the end of the day, and I say this is the key part of this statement. The pieces you're going to get back for an expiring contract and Ian Happ at the deadline most likely aren't going to be organization changers. So let it ride out. See if you can get the morale up with this team. If they're 2, 3, 4 games out of the wild card at the deadline, just let them finish the year and see what happens. You've made enough big trades at this point, and Ian Happ is a fan favorite, so you're going to let it go. Now, trading him at the deadline is defensible, like I said, but before opening day, you don't want to force Brendan Davis to be ready before he is. Canario's banged up. PCA isn't ready yet. Let it go. Okay. Ian Happ is starting, probably hitting leadoff or second, and playing left field March 30th at the Friendly Confines. That's a guarantee. I don't know if anyone watches Inside the NBA with Chuck. That's a guarantee.
I like that thinking. And Ian Happ, according to MLB Network, is number 9 at his position. We go over the rest of the position rankings as it concerns the NL Central next.
After we talk about FanDuel.
Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. We're so excited to be partners with FanDuel here on the program because they are the number 1 sports book in America. Makes sense. We're the number 1 Cubs show on YouTube now. We're getting closer in audio. We're partners with the number 1 sports book. We have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. New customers join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, at FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Locked On Cubs. Welcome back into Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. If you enjoyed the show, tell somebody about it. We would appreciate it as we continue the journey with the show.
And
And
shout out to FanDuel because I won a little bit of a wager last night
really,
on the Chiefs. How about
ah,
them Chiefs?
yes. And I tuned into Locked On Chiefs after the game. Also, was doing some listening today to the brand new Locked On NFL Draft. If you're still in football mode a little bit,
Bears got some
brand
moves to
new
make.
show to the network. That's right. Well, MLB Network released a top 10 list for every position over the last week or so, including starting pitcher and relief pitcher. Sam, in the NL Central, the Cardinals led the way by a lot with 6 selections. Brewers had 2, so did the Cubs with 2, and the Pirates and Reds each had 1 player representing them.
What is it?
Would
Top
you
10? Top 10?
top 10 at each spot? Dansby Swanson
Yeah, and Happ.
was in the top 10 at short, and Ian Happ was as well.
It's shameful that Suzuki's not a top 10 right fielder. That will change.
I do believe that will change soon.
Yeah.
Also, Nico Horner, a possible snub at second.
Yeah.
I like the top 4 or 5 here, but 6 through 10, Polanco, Donovan, Marte, Wong, Torres. Maybe Horner could have snuck in there.
Donovan's in there?
Yeah, Donovan, one of the 6 Cardinals on the list.
And Wong's on there.
Yes, and Kettle Marte as well.
Yeah, I could tell. Ugh, overrated.
I could tell. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Overrated.
interesting the talent disparity that remains in the division. Corbin Burns is ranked number 1 overall.
Who else
starting pitchers?
Who else is St. Louis besides Donovan? Goldschmidt,
Contreras,
Arenado, Contreras,
Tyler O'Neill, number 7 in left fielders, and Ryan Halsey.
Oh, he's one of the best.
Number 10 in relief pitchers.
He's one of the best.
So they have a ton of guys. Brewers also have Willie Adames at short. Pirates, Brian Reynolds, and Tyler Stevenson is number 10 in the top 10 for catchers representing the Reds. So I just thought it was interesting. I think there was some little bit of mini outrage at the Horner snub there. But also I think it just shows
that is a snub.
It is a bit of a reality check. The Cardinals do have a solid roster.
It's not a reality check. I don't care what these people say.
Really? What are your thoughts on it?
I'm going to watch. I'm so, you know what? I'm starting to get a little tired of the projections and the rankings. Let's play 162 baseball games and roll it out and go from there. Okay, we'll see. Who cares? Who cares that some guy in the MLB Network thinks that the overrated, injury-prone Ketel Marte is better than Nico Horner? We'll roll the ball out. We'll make that decision. Come back to me in mid-June.
All right, sounds good. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube and smash the like button on all your favorite Locked On Cubs content. Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you get your pods on the audio side, and drop us a text this week, 312-834-4634. Thanks for making Locked On Cubs your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB Prospects. Host Lindsey Crosby is a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. Locked On MLB Prospects, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. We continue to build the runway to opening day and this week to spring training right here on the show as this week moves along. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.